For 20 years, Mike and the Mad Dog was the best sports talk show anywhere on the air. Now, Christopher Mad Dog Russo has his own show on his own station, Mad Dog Radio, on the Sirius Network. Now joining us, the man himself, Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Dog, Z expert Zach Gelb, PureShovio.com. Thank you for joining me. And is anybody alive out there?
There you go, Zach. Good for you. Anybody alive out there, indeed. How are you today, pal? What's happening?
I'm doing good, and my favorite memory with you, since I've known you for so many years, is when you took me and my father backstage at the Springsteen concert. Is Nils Lofgren giving you any information on when Bruce and the E Street Band is going to be returning to concert?
I wish he would. No, he has not. You will see Bruce again. I don't know when that will be, but you will see that band get together again. I wish I did have some inside info on, they got that Darkness on the Edge of Town video coming out in November, but for the most part right now, called The Promise, that Darkness thing. But for the most part right now, a little quiet in Springsteen land.
Now let's get to the real reason why we had you on today. The San Francisco Giants square off against the Philadelphia Phillies in the NLCS. How do you think the San Francisco Giants pitching rotation matches up against the Phillies rotation?
Well, I love the Giant rotation in this series. There's no question about it. I think the Giants here will play very well in this series. Obviously they Lincecum and Halladay and Sanchez, who they moved up to Game 2, have the lefty pitching out small little ballpark with the lefty hitters going up against Oswald and then Hamels and Kane in Game 3. The Giants will definitely pitch Madison Bumgarner. I think the Phillies will probably let Stanton pitch, but if they're down 2-1, they could go back and pitch Halladay on short rest. Giants match up with the Phillies pitching-wise. I think they have a better bullpen than the Phillies do. Obviously, they don't have home field. They don't have nearly the offense the Phillies have or the experience. Most people do not think the Giants will be that competitive in this series. Most people think that Texas won't be that competitive in this series. But I think there will be one of these two teams will be picked off. I think the Yankees or Phillies, the whole world thinks that will be the World Series matchup in 2 weeks or 10 days. And I think one of those teams will lose. I really think the Giants will play very well in this series. I really do.
Do you like the decision by the San Francisco Giants manager to pitch Bumgarner in Game 4, where you could have Lincecum possibly for 3 starts if this was to go to 7 games?
Well, first off, Bumgarner's got a 1.94 ERA and 11 starts in a row this year. That's one. 2, he pitched very well in Atlanta on Monday night when the Giants won that series 3 games to 1. He went 6 innings, 2 runs. Thirdly, Lincecum's got a blister issue on his finger, and I don't think the Giants want to push that. So from that perspective, I think all those putting all those things in the mix, and I think you got to let Bumgarner pitch the game. So, listen, if he's down 2-1, he's going to have to win that game. But remember, the difference between Bumgarner, the difference between Lincecum and the rest of the Giants staff is not as great as the difference between Halladay and the rest of his staff. So, Oswald's not nearly as good as Halladay. Lincecum was not as good this year, and the other guys had good years. So, from that perspective, I don't have any problem pitching Bumgarner in the game. Now, I don't know if the Phillies will let Halladay pitch. I don't know what they're going to do if they're down 2-1. But I think Bochy's making the right call with Bumgarner, and I think he will pitch him. And I think he's making the right call by switching Sanchez and Matt Kane.
I agree with you, because if the Giants do defeat the Phillies here and go on to the World Series, if you pinch Lincecum 3 times on short rest, you wear him out for the postseason, for the World Series, I should say. And are you scared at all by the Giants' bullpen? They've been great all season long, but Wilson has been having some ducks on the ponds in the NLDS.
Yeah, very worried about the Giants. I am a little worried about it. They also, Ramon Ramirez gave up a home run to Rick Ankiel last Friday in Game 2 in the 11th inning. They went into the Covey Cove. Romo, who had a very good year, was very bad in the postseason. He allowed a home run and 2 huge hits in Games 2 and 3. And as you said, Wilson, definitely a little nerve-wracking. So, yes, I am concerned of the Giant bullpen. It was rock solid the whole second half of the year. It was not good the last couple games in the divisional series. That is a edge that the Giants have, and they have to win that edge. They have to be better, that bullpen, than the Philly bullpen. The Giants aren't going to score many runs. So those games, if Giants are to win, are going to be 2-2 in the 7th inning, and the Giants got to get out. So, yes, very worried about that. I am a little concerned about that Giant bullpen.
We're talking to Chris Russo of Mad Dog Radio. And Chris, do you like the decision to switch Jonathan Sanchez to Game 2 and Matt Cain to Game 3?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Sanchez shut out the Phillies in that ballpark through 7 or 8 innings back in late August. He's got a good record lifetime against the Phillies. It's a small little ballpark, so a lot of home runs are hit there. And the Phillies have those 3 big lefties in the lineup. So pitch Cain in a bigger ballpark. Cain has the tendency of giving up 21 home runs. Cain gives up more home runs than Sanchez does. Sanchez's issue is control. Cain's occasional issue could be the long ball, and I think they made the right call there. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Plus, I don't like, switching up the 2 righties is not a problem either. That's a good move by the Giants. No issue whatsoever with that. Cain then was available for Game 7. The Giants pitchers are all about equal. They're all very good.
Yeah, they are.
The big 3. So I didn't think it was better than the other 2, but this year he wasn't. So I have no problem with the way the Giants handled that pitching staff.
And staying here with the starting rotation and all the pitching, all these teams left in the playoffs have great pitching. Game 7 World Series, out of any of these pitchers, if you had to pick one pitcher, who would it be to get the start?
Well, I think I pitched Cliff Lee myself. I would go Lee 1, Halliday 2, Lincecum 3, Sabathia 4. Now, I know that's not fair with Lincecum and Sabathia, since Lincecum's only had 1 start in the postseason, but he's got dominating stuff. Sabathia, you can nick and pick. You can pick and nick a little bit to get a run or 2. When Lincecum's on, he's unhittable. But I think Lee is 6-0. How good he is, I would put him number 1. I put Halliday number 2, to be fair, based on his year and the fact he pitched a no-hitter last week. And then, of course, Lincecum 3, Sabathia 4. Those are your 4 best pitchers. Pitcher number 5, if my life was on the line, I have to take Andy Pettit.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Postseason wins.
And Chris, give me a prediction here for the NLCS. Your Giants play the Phillies. Do the Giants get it done?
Giants in 7, and I will say Yankees in 6. That would be I think, listen, the Giants and the Yankees, who have never been this far, both in an NL or ALCS at the same time, since 1962, when they played the World Series, I think that both teams, I think it's going to be a Yankee-Giant World Series. Now, again, I think America wants to see Phillies Yankees, but I could definitely see I think one of these 2 teams are going to be picked off, and I'm not going to pick against the Giants, so I will go a Giant-Yankee World Series.
Now, hold on here, Chris. If the Giants and the Yankees get to the World Series, will we be seeing a Mike and the Mad Dog reunion at Yankee Stadium?
Well, I mean, that's a ways down the road. Remember, those Yankee games are on weekends, Friday, Saturday. Those Yankee games are Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I would think that Mike and I would do something, if it is a Giant Yankee World Series. How that has not been discussed, but I would think we would come up with some sort of an hour a day. We'd have to go through the powers that be to approve that, but I would suspect you'd have something along those lines. I really would.
Well, that's good to know. We're talking to Christopher Mad Dog Russo of Mad Dog Radio. And Chris, Cliff Lee, we talked about it. He's been so dominant. If the Yankees and the Texas Rangers go to 1-1, do you think the Rangers will win this series?
No, I don't think the Rangers. I think that's the Rangers' only chance. I can't say if they get a split at home, that means they're going to win this series. I mean, the Rangers' chance in this series is obvious. I mean, get a game at home in the first 2, and I think they're going to do that. Win Game 3, which against Pettit is not a given, and then of course take advantage of A.J. Burnett in Game 4. That's the Rangers' chance to win this series, is to do that. And the other Ranger opportunity is to get to Game 7. And if they get to Game 7, they're going to have Lee against Pettit in Texas, and you obviously have to give the Rangers, even though Pettit's good in the big game, you have to give the Rangers the advantage there. So I think the Rangers are a live team. I think they'd be loosey-goosey after getting through Tampa. They finally got that franchise not winning they finally got the idea about not winning a postseason series. They got that out of the way for the franchise. And I think they're going to be very dangerous in that next round, in this round. I mean, they got to favor the Yankees, but Texas is a live team.
Chris, a few more questions right before we let you go. So you have the Giants and the Yankees in the World Series. Who will win? Let's go ahead into the future a little bit.
I think the Giants are going to win the whole thing. I've said this before, and I've been wrong. So, I'm a fan. You got to keep that in mind, too. So, you can take it with a grain of salt. But I just think the Giants are going to win. I think they're due as a franchise. They haven't won in 60 years. They've had a lot of miracle wins. They have played very well in the second half of the year. They were fortunate to beat Atlanta. They got a lot of breaks in that series, which is a plus. I just think it's the Giants' year. I saw the 63 Dodgers do it. I saw the 60 Pirates do it. I saw the 69 Mets do it. I saw the 90 Reds do it. The 88 Dodgers do it. A lot of these teams that over a long 162-game haul are not as good as the teams that they play in the postseason, yet they, get hot at the right time, they get a break here at the right time, and they go out there and they win the whole thing. It's not going to be easy. Giants are probably going to have to play a Game 7 where the ball bounces on the chalk line, but I have a funny feeling the Giants are going to win this world. I'm going to win the whole thing this year.
Chris, one last question right before we let you go. We're talking to Christopher Mad Dog Russo of Mad Dog Radio, and you have a new morning show with Steve Phillips. Do you like how it's going with Phillips and Williams so far? I just got a Sirius Radio, and you know what? I love it.
Very good. Zach Gelb is on top of it. Yeah, I'm very happy with Phillips. We needed a guy to add a little credibility to the rest of our lineup. Gary is a very good provocateur. He knows how to get the best out of a partner. So we think that was a very good team. We needed a guy who had some presence to help us along the line here as far as our lineup is concerned. It is a good listen. Phillips can keep up with Gary. Very happy with it. I think right now, after 2.5 years putting this channel together, I think we're at basically the highest level that we've been since I've been there. I've noticed more activity with the phone calls in the last couple of weeks. Maybe that has something to do with Phillips, Giants, and the Phillies too, maybe. But I think right now we're as good as we've been since I've been there, as far as this channel is concerned.
Now, Chris, are you confident with Steve? Just because when I heard it, I said, "Oh, it's great. They have him on for the MLB postseason." Are you confident in his abilities past the MLB when we get into the football and the college basketball stuff?
Well, I understand what you're saying because baseball is his strength. But this is a guy who played big-time high school football. This is a guy who got a scholarship full ride to Northwestern. This is a guy that, is a good sports fan. He plays fantasy football, NFL football all the time. Gary's in there to help him with the college stuff because Gary's a great college football and basketball guy. Everybody knows the NFL, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Does Steve Phillips know Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer? Does Steve Phillips know anything about Steve Stricker? I would say, horse racing, maybe they got some issues there. But of the big sports, I think Steve would do fine.
Christopher Mad Dog Russo, weekdays 2 to 7 on Mad Dog Radio. Chris, thank you so much for hopping on the program with me today. It means a lot.
Good job there, Zach. Keep up the good work, pal. Appreciate it.
Okay, talk to you later. So Christopher Mad Dog Russo there of Sirius Satellite Radio. You could catch him 2 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the weekdays. The expert Zach Gelb here, rolling along.